Hello, welcome. Another sunny day that we've actually had today here in the Permaculture Shoestring Home and Garden. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Just wanted to show you what we've been up to this week. It is the second week of the month, and I wanted to show you what we're doing this week on the crafts. Well, the whittler's been busy. He's turned some icicles for Christmas tree decorations and a little fennel. He's also been whittling a few little characters. This is part of a set that was ordered, and there's a bear, a badger. There's the bear, the badger, a sheep, an angel, that'll be finished, and then to finish off that set there's an owl and a tree. So that's a set for an order. Then there's a sheep that has yet to be painted and finished, and I've started painting one of the Christmas Santas, and obviously this one's going to have a night scene on it. So I started doing that one today, and I'm already enjoying it. I like painting the things he makes. So that was the one Santa. He's made a few other Santas. This is two different ones, a new one to try. He's completed, you've already seen these two and the one on the table, but you haven't seen the others at the back, so I'll show you more of them when they're closer to being done. And that one. Oh, and he's also made some new hanging Santas there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them that's been done, ready. So we can get on with those. So he's been very busy making. I've started painting, and I've also finished painting another walk-in stick. This is for somebody else. So yeah, very busy doing the crafts, getting on with it, and making a start on the Christmas stuff finally. Though I don't think we'll ever get everything ready, but we'll have a go anyway. So that's what we'll be doing with the crafts. There is still another 2 more orders, and then it's just me getting on with all of that stuff and the stuff that's in the boxes at the bottom, at the back there, and there's a box of stuff underneath there, and those 2 boxes over there. Lots to be getting on with, isn't there? And finally I've got the extra shelf in here, so it makes storing things a lot easier. I love bookshelves. So useful. But there you are. And just as I finally get a fan for the heat that we had last week, it all changes. And it's now well and truly, by this morning, very obviously autumn. Very obviously indeed. Very cold at night it was, and the air was just so autumnal this morning. Everything was wet and damp, and you could just smell autumn. So even though technically it's still summer, but nature has already started autumn. I said that about a week or 2 ago, didn't I? But there you are. So that's this week's video. Nothing fancy, nothing much. I probably have a lot I could chat about, but I think I'll spare you that for today. The neighbour's busy burning something. The smell is coming in. Oh, I'll show you something. So actually, a slight little chat. This placemat. Oh, I've had this placemat for many years. Can you see that? This placemat. Obviously, it's a typical British farm type little scene of not a big farm, probably a small holding. And when I think about that, I've always, because that's always been my dream, to have a small little farm. That's always been my dream. It's something I've always yearned for. And it's something we've always dreamed of as a couple, my hubby and myself, but it's never ever happened. But I just love that scene. Even though if I had land now, I certainly wouldn't have cattle or pigs or sheep. I might have chickens, but I wouldn't have the larger animals. I think that's quite a responsibility to keep them, and since we don't really eat meat anyway, I'd rather have a goat than a cow. They're smaller and more appropriate for a small place if it's just for subsistence rather than selling. But that has always been the dream. We always wanted a small holding. Since that wasn't achievable, we thought, wow, could we have an allotment? So we got allotments. We'd been through quite a few allotments, didn't even come close, nowhere near. Still wasn't satisfying enough. It was just very limited. We had to deal with bureaucratic little Hitler type characters in committees that were so dictatorial about everything and prohibitions and all sorts. So that just was not the feeling of freedom and self-reliance that we were looking for, and connection with the countryside and with nature. And over the years, as little things have gone, and we've come to accept that might just never be the reality for us. And that might be defeatist for some people, but actually, for us, when I look at that, I think, in a way, and like I said this a few months ago, I think, when chatting with you, that in a way, we have some aspects of that right where we are in our home here in the suburbs of a city, and in an average suburban house. Because we have a larger than most gardens. We have an average sized garden, but there's a vegetable patch. There's a garden in the front with flowers. It's on its way to becoming a nice forest/cottage garden in the front garden, together with all the herbs and medicinals and vegetables and fruit. And in the back garden, we've got our vegetable patch. We have our outdoor cooking area almost complete. We have a workshop, 2 workshops now actually, and a sort of orchard with the apple circle going on over there, and bushes around the fences of the garden. So I think that subconsciously we've almost been focusing on our dream and making it come true in the sphere that we have power to do. And that's quite a lovely realization. No, we'll never have the amount of money that would get us that dream, but we can still have the dream. We can still have the garden, that connection with nature, that self-reliance, that aspect of subsistence where we're growing some things for ourselves. You know, we can reach our dreams. Our dreams have to be realistic. And even, a small holding and a farm was totally unrealistic for us as time went on. But aspects of it are not. We can still have the dream, even in small measure. And that I find very satisfying. I find it very hopeful. I find it like we're not having to chase something we will never have, because we can have it, just in a different way. I think I shared with you, it was a few weeks ago or a month ago, when I was looking at some introspective thoughts and ponderings, and I found a quote, and I can't remember who the originator of the quote is, but it said that if you want to make small changes, change the way you do things. If you want to make big changes, change the way you see things. And I pondered that for quite a while. and realized that I needed to do both, make small and big changes. So therefore I needed to change the way I do things and change the way I see things. And that's what I've been doing over the past 2 months, actually. I've been putting a lot of things in order, changing a few things. Have you seen a few of the things we've been doing with the workshop and taking the crafts out the house? I've cleared off another bookcase and made space for us to open up the fireplace next year. I've been doing a few odd bits and pieces of sorting things out, and things are moving on. So I think I have been changing my attitude slightly. I still have a long way to go. There's so many aspects of my life and my mind that I need to work both on the things I do and the way I see things, my attitude and my perspective and perception of things. So this little picture I have held on to for, what is it, about 15 years. And at some points earlier on in those 15 years, it got more and more heartbreaking every time I looked at that picture and knew that it would never be ours, we'd never have that. But now it's a beautiful picture again, and it's a lovely reminder we might not have cows or pigs or even ducks. We possibly sometime in the future might be able to have a couple of chickens, but for now we don't need it. And I don't actually want it. But what I have got, I'm happy with. And that's half the battle, is finding satisfaction in what we have. So here we are, one step closer to the dream. Quite a few steps closer to the dream, actually. Sitting in the little workshop that I dreamt about for a couple of years and yearned for, as another little aspect of a little bit more order in the home and in what we do. And here we are, just like that. It was painful getting there, and all dreams come at a cost of some kind. And struggling for a bit and saving and being physically pushed is just one of those prices to pay, which I'm happy to have been paying. And I'm happy to report that we are well on our way to meeting the dream, even if in just a different way. So next time I have a really, really, really hard day, or a frustrating or painful or angry day, I'm going to look at that picture. And then I'm going to look at my garden and my home and take a moment to count my blessings and be grateful and remind myself to have an attitude of gratitude for the things that have happened. Hopefully that will kind of fill my lamp and give me the backup I need on those hard days. So I think that's what I'd like you to take from this video today. Whatever you are going through, good or bad, it's always helpful to take stock and look at what your goals and things. We were talking about that back in June, weren't we? Half-year goals, checking what they were at the beginning of the year. And it's good to do that more regularly, just to take a moment, as often as you can, just to tick off all the good things you do have, even if there's... I remember this video is going to go on for a bit, isn't it? I remember many years ago a tactic I heard from somebody, I can't remember who it was, where it was from or whatever, but they said to have a grateful diary, and every single day before you go to bed, write down 5 things that you are grateful for of that day. To make it a discipline, that every single day you count at least 5 things in that day that you're grateful for, and before long it becomes a habit and you're doing it subconsciously without thinking, and you get way more than 5 things that you're grateful for, and it helps to get perspective in your life. So that's my challenge to you with this video today. I think that's what it should be. Have you got a list of things you're grateful for every single day? Count them off in your head. Do it regularly and just see what changes happen in your life. If you're going to make big changes in your life to change the way you see things. So what can you change? How can you change how you see something in your life. And I hope it brings you the same amount of satisfaction and comfort and reassurance as it does for me. And that's what I want to leave you with today. So, whatever your day has brought, I hope that the end of the day brings something nicer. Ta-ra, people. Speak soon.